The following feature is rated SM for spiritual maturity and is not intended for the immature who wishes to remain as such. The views expressed are not necessarily those of our sponsors, as they sometimes could not care less about what the host is saying, but is more concerned about having their product on a popular show. Warning, small minds, listen at your own risk, as this content is extremely overwhelming and may do further damage to those minds closed off to objective reality. Approach with an open mind, as the heavy nature of the content will lick your chip.
Hey everyone, if you're watching this video when it premieres on February 24th, 2021, then a special welcome to you. A special welcome also if you're watching this after February 24th. But if you're watching it on February 24th, then today is a very special day. It's my 30th birthday. Yay! And what I want you to do for me today is to watch this video, leave me a comment, like this video, subscribe, and share this link. Yay! Here goes! The Anchorage is an exclusive development geared at middle upper income strata with units available at $36 million Jamaican, located in Port Royal on Foreshore Road, just opposite the famous Gloria's Rendezvous restaurant, approximately 7 miles from Kingston proper. The Anchorage location and sales price make it a very attractive development. Port Royal will see an upsurge in the demand for housing units within this price structure due to the lack of available land and the upcoming macro infrastructure development, coupled with the cruise ship here and marina coming on stream. The 23 1,500 square foot units at only 36 million Jamaican and 4 500 square foot units, 4 more to be approved at 16.5 million Jamaican being offered in Port Royal. This is your opportunity to own a piece of Jamaica and benefit from the improved value of these properties as Port Royal continues to be developed. Contact 876-851-4189 for further details. Anchorage Port Royal, own a piece of Jamaica.
Hey, what the man say? Buckler.
If you're going to kill someone, make sure they're dead. Hello? There was coughing and sneezing before COVID-19. I don't want you put where you are look for in my bag.
Entertainment.
When you create your nukes to attack, just remember,
Death to America first. America first.
My 2 cents.
Do you need a simple website to showcase your business? Don't have much cash? Dart Technology is to the rescue. For only $16 US or 2,125 Jamaican dollars a month, or 85 US, about 11,220 Jamaican dollars a year, you can have your very own website today. Get up to 5 pages, home, about us, contact us, just to name a few. Plus 24-hour support and no charge for minor changes. What are you waiting for? Email us at wpmastersja@gmail.com. Order now to get your website started. Get a free domain name like rlawrence.tk with hundreds of thousands of themes to choose from. This is for you. But wait, there's more. We link your website with your social media, and with our SEO expertise, we will have visitors to your site in no time. Don't stay hidden from the world. Sign up today. Prices may change without notice. Conditions apply. Call 876-561-1580 or email wpmastersja@gmail.com for further details.
Please be advised that this is not a program, as programs are meant to alter your beliefs and behavior to get you to comply or do things you wouldn't normally do. That is, to program you. This and other content on this channel are meant to educate and inform you so you can make the best decision for yourself. Therefore, you are recommended to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Good.
Alright, so what have I learned? Well, in the past 3 decades that I've been on Earth, I've learned a lot of things. Because I've oftentimes said that I have forgotten more things than most people learn in their entire life. It's true. Because there's so many topics, that I can give an opinion on. I can say something about so many topics. And I try to educate myself on every little thing. I think that's one of the things that people should do in life. They should have some idea, even if you're not an expert on everything, then they should have at least some understanding of everything, of every little thing that they can, because no one can know everything, but you have to know something. So in the past 3 decades that I have been on Earth, I have actually learned a whole heap. Right? I've learned who to trust, who not to trust. I've learned what to do, what not to do. I've also learned that not because something is good compare bad or good compare evil, then that doesn't mean that it's right? Because sometimes you need to do a little evil because it's the right thing, and sometimes you need to do a little good. A lot of people do good, not necessarily doing it because it's for some righteous cause or whatever. Some of them are doing it for their own selfish needs or selfish desire, right? I've also, as I said, in terms of religion, I've also done a lot of research on religion and a lot of, on religion, because this religion to me is something very big. It's huge because it's supposed to help. It's supposed to tell you about your afterlife, after this life is finished, after this life is over. Then, so I think it's really important that people get that right. Right. Some of the weirdest things that I believed as a child, some of the weirdest things that I thought as a child. For example, I think everybody can relate it to element of P, thinking that was one letter, even though you knew the letter L, the letter M, the letter N, the letter O, and the letter P. You when you were saying your ABC, you thought element of P was just one long letter. Also, when I was a child, I thought like everybody on TV, because when I was a child, I thought the world was only this big, like a living room. I thought that was the size of the whole world. Like my cousin Bram, I thought he was Beanie Man because I was seeing Beanie Man on the television. But as I said, I thought the world was much smaller. I thought every person and everything that I saw was somebody I knew, and that there was nothing more for me to know. It was just those people. So that was some of the weirdest thing that I thought as a child. So my first memory, what I remember is like, I don't know if I was sleeping or what. My very first memory was I woke up underneath a breadfruit tree down by the yard that my grandmother used to live. She doesn't live there anymore. And I heard somebody call Hardly, and I just knew that they were calling me. When I went out, I knew person's name, but I don't remember anything before that, right? I don't even remember language. I don't remember learning the language. I don't remember anything like that. I think I was probably 5 or 4 years old. That's my earliest memory. And people are always telling kids that they can't remember something because they were too young. Don't do that. You don't know what a person remembers or when they're going to lose their baby memories. You don't know. So don't be telling people that, oh my God, you don't know this. You don't remember that. We have to tell you because you don't remember. No, don't do that, right? Because I said that was my earliest memory. That's the earliest memory I think I can remember. Alright, so something that happened to me as a child that I haven't quite gotten over. Well, many people would know that when I was about 5 years old, right, the September after when I was 5 years old, I was supposed to be going to grade 1. I didn't get to go to school until the January, right? Because, you know, this evening was there, we were living with this old lady named Miss Gertie, God rest her soul, and my mother was cooking some soup, right? And I was really hungry, and I was pushing the fire. And according to her, she said she was shaving. I don't know what she was doing, but the thing is, people, you can't do that when to a child. You expect the child to bob and the child weaves, so you don't know. You can't do that. And she swung her cutlass, and I got a chop in my left ankle. Still bothers me to this day. And a lot of people would think that that's the thing that I haven't gotten over with. But the thing that I have not really, I don't think I've gotten over, right, is the fact that when I was about 7 years old, the big dog had puppies, and there was this little puppy, and I would feed this puppy, and he got really fat, and he looked so nice. Yeah, it looked so nice, and that was my puppy. I called him Soldier, right? And I went to school, and when I came home, Soldier was gone. I'm like, what happened to Soldier? Eh? And when I went to my father, because my father didn't live at home with me, when I went to my father's house, there was Soldier, but he had a new name. His name was now Adams, and he was barking at me. So my mother giving away my puppy, that's the thing that I haven't gotten over, I would say. And as a result, I don't want any pets. I don't want any pets. I don't want any dogs, any cats, any lizards. I don't want any pets at all because of that incident. And that I think is something that I haven't gotten over. Alright, so as a child, what did I want to be? Well, my mother is still upset that I didn't become this. What I wanted to be a doctor. When I was in grade 1, I really wanted to be a doctor. No special reason why I wanted to be a doctor. I just thought being a doctor was something really, really fun, you know. A person wanted to be a nerd, you know. It's just one of those things, I guess, where you just say, hey, this is what I want to become. You have absolutely no idea what they do. You have absolutely no idea about anything at all. But persons are saying they want to be lawyers and nurses, and you're just like, okay, I want to be a doctor, you know, because it was seen as, you know, high job or whatever. So the next logical question is, why didn't I become that? So why didn't I become a doctor? Well, I think it has to do with sex. It has to do with sex, and it also has to do with computers, because even until 8th grade I wanted to be a doctor. But then when I started learning about sex, and you know, then you learning more about what is this doctor thing that you actually saying that you want to be. And I realized that you could be on call at any time. You could be on top of your wife, and they're like they call you, and you have to get off your wife and go deal with that, because it's a life and death situation. It cannot wait, right? So that was part of it. And the other part was the fact that I discovered computers. And wow, did that change things? Because when I discovered computers and I started realizing that I was good at manipulating computers and understanding computers, I think probably I understand computers better than people. I mean, because computers usually don't change their mind. You know, if you enter some code and it runs one way today, the same code will run the same way tomorrow, right? So I think discovering computers, that's when I decided to change, and I wanted to become something in terms of computers. Alright, so what is my profession? Well, I am a IT professional. If there's anything related to IT, information and communication technologies, I should be able to do it. Really, I'm a web developer. I develop websites. Whether it can be a WordPress site or a custom site or any site. I do the coding. So I don't do graphics. Well, I have to do a little graphics because, I work alone. But in terms of web development, what I do is I do what it takes to make whatever it is run. So you might have something that looks pretty, but you press something, when you press up a button and the button does something, that's what I do. I make the button do what it's supposed to do. So I'm a web developer, but I'm an IT professional because I do a lot of support for businesses. So if they have an IT issue, I'll go in, I'll sort out IT issue, and then I'll charge them as per whatever the job is. So I guess that's my profession. Oh yeah, and I also do YouTube, but that doesn't pay yet.
Sort of movement around jobs and income and to bring out a government that has a problem of poverty and okay. Yes, that is a match music.
So what is my education level? I have education right up to high school. I've graduated. Well, I left high school. I didn't actually participate in the graduation, except that I went to receive an award. Hey, people, that was really upsetting though. I put on my uniform because graduation was happening, but I wasn't graduating. I was at home, and then I heard that, hey, you're receiving some award, so you need to be there. So I throw on my uniform and I go to the church. So it's St. Mary's Church, and I go and they call me up and say, Richard Lawrence, I think I was awarded for either quiz or something else, because I did quiz when I was in high school. I go up and I was so proud, top boy or whatnot. And when I go up and I collect the paper and I took the picture, and then when I go outside, I realized it was just a blank leaf that was rolled up with a lasket on it. I'm like, what the hell? This is what they called me for a blank leaf? My God, right? But back to what my education level is. So after finishing high school, I did go to Hart. I have a level 2 certificate in data operation, which was really, just a formality, and I would go to Hart to get formal certification. But really, most of what I learned, most of what I know, I taught myself. The World Wide Web is your friend, people. That's where I learned most of what I know, right? So yeah, I didn't go to tertiary or university, but I do assist a lot of people who did go to those places, because at the end of the day, a lot of these people they just go and pass and get a paper and they don't know anything. If you really want to see more my exact qualification, you can do so at rlawrence.tk. That's my my portfolio website, and you can see a lot of other things that I did do, like for some of my work for some companies. Alright, so my advice to kids today as it relates to education. Well, it's like DJ Casey would say, education, it a the key, me youth. So put on your boot and your khaki suit and step in a school like a new recruit, and a gun you be shoot a belfie in a loop. School girl, be prefect, not prostitute. In a my days, me tell you the truth, face not be too white, not be too tight in a school. Me no fight, everybody say me bright like the sun, me no dark like the night. Brain higher than the cloud, higher than the satellite. So if you want be something in a life, remember to take my advice. Yeah man, so education is very important, at least up to the high school level, up to 5th form. That is very important. I mean, I have 7 CXCs, as you would see on rlawrence.tk, including math, IT and whatnot. But I'm saying, kids, take education now. Now that you're getting it as a child, somebody else will pay for it. So make use of that opportunity, because really, you you're going to need it. And if you don't take it now, then you're going to have to pay for it later. So, and it's going to be difficult because you're going to have to work and pay for your education while going to get the education. Trust me, it's going to be very difficult. Right now that you just push everything else aside, the world isn't going anywhere. If it's sex, if it's party, whatever it is, trust me, it will be there when you've finished gotten this quote unquote free education that you're getting. So yeah, just do that. Will I be taking the vaccine? Well, absolutely not. And I'll be kicking and screaming if anyone should even try to force me to take it. This vaccine, I'm not against vaccine in general. They are great. But this vaccine for COVID is not up to par, up to scratch with other vaccine. And therefore, I cannot in good faith support this vaccine. I'm not telling you not to, but I'm telling you that I will not be doing it. And many persons who I know in my life and who I like and who I love will not be doing it. I have a client that will say he'll be taking it as soon as it is available. And God, I'm begging you to protect this client from me. He's one of my favorite clients. Yes, please. Because he has underlying conditions, and yes, I can understand him wanting to take the vaccine. But I don't think this vaccine was done properly. I don't think it was done the right way, and therefore I cannot put myself in a position where I'm going to take that. Alright, so who is Hardly Shaw? Well, I am Hardly Shaw. Because how did this all come about? Well, really, the alter ego Hardly Shaw is something that was given to me as a child. A lot of people might think that it has to do with Audley Shaw, not to be confused with me, Ardley Shaw, and I really don't know. I really don't know. In terms of, I'll tell you what happened when I was probably 7. I began DJing other people's songs, like Beenie Man song or whoever song. I started DJing, and while I was DJing, as you know, my pet name is Hardly, my nickname is Hardly, and then that became Hardly Sharp, and eventually the Sharp wore down to just Shaw. So I had that name from I was 7, and so I wouldn't change it. I'm not going to change it because now I realize that there's somebody with a name that is close to mine. I just say, okay, whatever. So that's the name that I use. So that's the name that I'm using. So how did I get into music? Well, as I said, I used to DJ other people's songs, and as a DJ, and I got the practice. You got the practice, and some people started liking you, right? So by the time I was in high school, I started writing my own songs, right? I think I was writing more songs in high school. They had a contest, and I was really nervous. At that time, I didn't have any stage presence. I was really shy and all that sort of a thing. So I also did dub poetry. Fun fact. So I had a song about violence. I had a dub poet about violence. So the song was like, violence don't make sense, like in the down your sister at your expense. Now make you richer, you not drive no Benz. So just start out the thing and just be friends, right? And I also did the dub poet in the contest. Violence a mash up the country. People want box and kick and punch me. Everybody in the world I get grumpy. You want beat them brother like Carmel well lumpy. So that was about probably 2005 or 2006, somewhere there about when I entered that contest. And I didn't think I did well, but I got a call back. I was allowed to go on the next week because it was a competition in school. So and God bless Alwyn anywhere he is. God bless his soul. So there was DNA, which is Daniel, Nebaron, and Alwyn. and they had their own group, and I was hardly sure. Right? So week 2 now. Week 2, both of us, both them, and I didn't have a rhythm. I didn't come with any rhythm, right? So all gave flammable, and when them hit, that place flammable. Anyway, so they gave me a rhythm and I start writing the rhythm on the feet. That's where and get trampled. The whole of them guys that to get this my uncle, and that was the last time because I guess they didn't like the topic. Funny thing is, as I said, as I mentioned, DNA, Alwyn and Neverone. No, I think it was Alwyn and Daniel, that's Roddy, that were performing, and I think Alwyn was like, yo, don't say Batty boy, say Chichi boy. And then he goes out on the stage, yeah, if you don't say no Batty boy, can't come on here. they immediately removed him from the stage. But when I was going home now, I realized everybody loved the song about All Grey Flammable, and the rest is history. So from there I started doing more songs because I got really the confidence. Well, from even week 1, after doing the Violence That Makes Sense song, I got the confidence that I needed, and so from there, and since then I've gone to not many, because I'm not really a party person, but I've gone to dance where big artists, big artists come on, and they're like, they have the crowd and they get the mic and the rhythm is playing and they flop themselves, and I was there, there's this little artist when don't have no practice, we just come on and just smash up the place, you understand? So me know that, so yeah, so that's really how I got started in music.
It just feels absolutely amazing to finally spread my legs and be the person that I know I am musically.
You just said spread your legs.
I just said spread spread my wings musically.
Am I still doing music? Well, it's a very tough question. Really, not even me, no. Because at the end of the day, it's been a while since I've really sat down and decided that, yes, I'm going to write a song. But then again, that's always been my method. I've always waited for the songs to come to me. Because if I even get a concept and I'm writing a song, and the song does not sound like a hit to me, I'm not going to continue. I only write songs that I think have something about. I don't write songs that don't have anything about. So am I still doing music? I would say yes, right? But it has been a while since I've actually done any new music. So why did I start doing YouTube? Well, so before I started doing YouTube, so let me start from when I was about 16, because I didn't do RE in CXC, but I did do RE in lower grade, and then I realized there was all these different beliefs and different people believe in different things, but what I realized also was that persons would be in a church, and they are just in a church. They don't have any specific idea what the church believes, because you go in a church, you can go in a church right now, any church, you can go in there and you can ask them, so what is your belief on can be anything. What is your belief on eating pork, for example? And one person will tell you that it's clearly you should not eat pork right here, and then another person will draw for another scripture and say, hey, it's not what goes in the body that defiles it, but what comes out. So that was really the inspiration behind me wanting to create a YouTube channel. But before a YouTube channel, I went to a pastor, asked him because at first what I wanted to do was to go to these different churches, sit down with the pastors, ask them the tough questions about their belief. What do they believe? Why do they believe it? And I wanted to compile that information. I wanted to make it available for persons. I wanted people to be able to access that, to say, okay, so this church believes this and this is why they believe it. And so they can make a conscious decision to say, I'm going to this church or I'm going to that church and this is why I'm going with it. So that was the inspiration behind. So then I thought, how do I get this information to people? And that's where YouTube came in. So that's really how I got into YouTube. But you know, everything has changed since I've gotten in, because I've done very few religious videos. I end up doing a lot of social commentary and other things. But don't worry, religious reasonings are coming, right? They're coming. So why did I call my channel Religious Reasoning? Well, I did so because that was going to be the main focus. That when I was creating the channel, that was the main focus of the channel. That was supposed to be the focus of the channel. As I said before, it has grown beyond, you know, just religion and religious views, and you know. So that's the reasoning behind Religious Reasoning, because it was religious. It was supposed to be religious because it was about religious thing, and it was reasoning because it wasn't just dictating that the sky is yellow. Alright, it was proving that the sky is yellow, or why, showing why we believe something or why we know something to be true. It was about reasoning about these religious beliefs and views. It wasn't just about dictating that this is how it is and you have to accept it or you're going to hell. No, that wasn't it. So that's why I chose the name. Alright, so what projects am I currently working on? Well, I'm working on a religious reasoning series. So basically, it will be like church. Somebody will be preaching. Yep, somebody will be preaching, and somebody will be there reading the Bible. And I think that's gonna be the main characters in that series, and it's going to put forward certain positions. You know, going to put forward the position, and it's going to dig deep, cut open the good book, and find the evidence as to why these things are the way they are. Because one of the things is that because I do my own analytic and looking at all of these churches and knowing that not all of them can be right, and looking at the word for myself, I have my own set of beliefs, right, that is very different from anybody I've ever seen. I'm not saying that there's somebody out there that don't have these very same beliefs, but I'm saying I've not met that person. Also, I'm working on a parenting series, so it's going to be a series where I am talking, I'm giving parental advice as to what's the best way to take on this journey called parenting. There's also one that it's coming up, just observe the basic modern slavery, and I'm going to show you why you need to be very careful about how you pair yourself for work and for working for somebody. So those are some of the projects that I'm coming up with.
Oh, you know who your daddy is? I said, I don't know who my daddy is. That's why I'm asking you, who's my daddy? She said, your daddy come over here all the time. I said, a lot of men come over here all the time, Mom. Which one is my dad? And I got a whooping. Mommy whooped me. And my daddy said she better not keep on putting her hands on me just because she don't know who my daddy is. That's not right.
So the question, why are there so many bad words, vulgar and explicit in my videos? Well, alright, so I guess it starts from me growing up, because when I was growing up, right, as a child, it was a bad word after another bad word after another bad word after another bad word. There was a whole heap of bad words. Even though there were so many bad words in my life as a child, I never used bad words as a child. I don't think kids, if you're listening, I don't think you should be listening, should be watching using any bad word. No, you don't need to, right? I think kids need to develop their vocabulary first. But I think bad words, in my opinion, help to bring off an idea, helps to push an idea in a way that not using it wouldn't. So basically what happened is a bad word most of the time, because a lot of people think that only vulgar language are bad words. People say hell or bloody hell. Those are also, in my opinion, bad words are explicit. What it does is you make a sound and you put a certain emotion within that sound. Those sounds being the bad words, right? Then that emotion is understood by the other person without you having to explain exactly what you mean. So it's the emotion it's really, bad words to me are really a container for emotions that cannot otherwise be expressed. You can't explain it. So bad words help to push across that message without, so that is why so many bad words are in my videos. Am I a pastor? Well, yes and no, I guess, because what I did was I went online. I think it was in 2018. I just went online, Universal Life Church, and I filled out a form, and voila, I got my certificate in like 15 minutes. I got a certificate saying that I was a pastor. I wasn't asked about scriptures. I wasn't asked about beliefs. I wasn't asked for anybody to petition. And I think the main reasoning behind that was not that I wanted to be a pastor, even though I think God wants me to be one for some reason. The reason why I did that was to show people that anybody can be a pastor. And the other thing was that most of these pastors take this pastoring for a joke, because they can be a pastor but they're having sex with the sisters, the choir. They're doing all these kind of things that are deceiving or robbing people. So I did that to show people that, listen, a pastor is no higher than you. A pastor is just another human being. So you need to look at him as another human being. He's not God. He's just another human being. So that was the whole reasoning behind that. So I mean, I guess you can decide whether I'm a real pastor or not.
Yeah, me just make that video for Simone. Yeah, Simone, you see what I go on. Remember last year when we get the insurance money and I say, yo, Simone, I buy cow, you say if I go take cow, go where I go. If I go take bus and I have so much money, I want to ask you. And I said, no, I call me thing there. And you said, no, and left. Well, looky here, Simone. Right now, we can buy 40 ask you. Excuse me, Mumu, go where some Moisha. Go on Mulan, go over there some Mufasa, go over there some Muru, go over there some Mufu. But you're a loser, Simone. Look here. Yeah.
Alright, so my inconsistent post, why am I'm not been posting consistently? Well, I try to post consistently, and I guess that's the best way to post, to do it, so people can anticipate and say, okay, Sunday at 7 p.m. we can expect a post from religious reasoning, so you can just plan and it's going to be interesting, so let's go over and watch that. But reality is that in reality I have to work, right? And sometimes work, and then there's so many things, chores around the house, all different kind of things that do get in the way, and then at the end of the day you try, but you end up not completing certain tasks that you want to do. And so sometimes you end up not doing a video. You have the idea of the video that you want to do, but you just don't get the time to record it, and sometimes you don't get the time to edit it, and sometimes it gets stale, and then you have to just scrap that video. So that's why I've not posted consistently, because I just don't have the time sometimes. Alright, so plans to improve my channel. Well, I want to take some deep dives into some topics like, as I said before, parenting and also religion. Also, I'm planning, whenever I make some money, there's this microphone. You should be seeing it on the screen now. The link will also be in the description that I'm going to be buying. If you want, you can buy it. My address, my shipping address is also on the screen, so you can send it there if you want to support me. And that way, when I use the microphone in my computer, I get a background sound that I don't like. As you can see, I'm not using my computer this time, I'm using my phone, and so you should be getting fairly clear audio. So I want to improve my audio, so I'm going to buy that microphone. I'm also going to try and get another laptop, because this one is really in poor condition. So I want to get better equipment, that's it. Also, I want to be able to post more consistently and do better editing and whatnot. So that's how I plan to improve the channel, so I can get more persons watching, more persons viewing, more persons subscribing. Of course, remember to do those things, and more persons commenting. Right? So the comments are really where it's at. When you comment, then you give me a feedback to let me know if I'm doing something good or if I'm doing something wrong. So thanks for that.
Run it up.
Alright, so here's the nitty gritty. So you're getting what are my experience as it relates to work. Well, I've had good experience, bad experience. My first work, I got it as soon as I left St. Mary's College. When I left, they called me back in September. I started in October as the lab tech, and I worked there for 2 years. The pay was good, and the work hours was okay. The first thing, don't assume anything. Yeah, don't assume, because when school closed, as a part of the admin staff, you still have to go to school. While the teachers get to go home, you still have to go to school. In that time, I got to develop a lot of things, because, for example, when I was going to school, I was always late, but when I was going to work, I was seldom late. I don't know why, but I tried not to make. I was late, yes, some of the time, because it was kind of difficult. You had to get up, you had to make sure your clothes was pressed, you had to shower. There was a lot of things, and I used to walk to work. I used to walk to work sometimes. Sometimes I would grab a cab day. Sometimes I would walk to work, and it depends on how much time I had, because I like walking. It helped me to clear my head. Then after I left that work, one of the other jobs that I did, I was a webmaster at finditinjamaica.com. And when I was there, I was because when I was at St. Mary's College, I was able to suggest improvements. Say, hey, we need to do this to improve or that to improve. And I was saying at finditinjamaica.com, finditinjamaica.com is a website, it's an online directory, but it uses frame technology. Most people don't know what that is. That's not important. What you need to know is that the home page was 4 frames. It was the header frame, the sidebar frame, the main frame, and there was another small frame. Not sure what you call that frame. Anyways, so problem that I identify, or I consider a problem, was when a person was to view the website through finditinjamaica.com, through our website, then when they found it, it would look the way we intended it, with our header, whatnot. Alright, cool. When They found it through Google. They Googled the company's name and they found us on Find in Jamaica. What they would realize is that they wouldn't see the header, they wouldn't see any of our branding, they would only see that person page. And I was like, listen, there must be a way that we can fix this. There must be a way that we can fix this. And that's when I discovered PHP. The part of that was that was a small company. The money was not coming in as quickly. Pay was inconsistent, and while pay was inconsistent, the boss owed me $10,000. He had $10,000 for me. He said, okay, Monday I'll let you get something. That's what he told me on Friday. When I come to work on Monday, I can't get in because the office was at his house. And when I went, I couldn't get in, and then he stopped me outside and tell me that, okay, we no longer need your services. I just used my last money to get to work because I'm like, money is there for me. And he didn't pay me. He did not pay me my $10,000. And after that experience, I said, okay, I'm not working with any small companies. And then there was another experience which I think is typical what youths might find. I did a rap program with art, so they had rap. And when we end up at a company, we're supposed to be intern, meaning that there should be somebody else above us teaching us, the ropes, that we are interns. And we went there and we were working as full-time workers instead of interns. And apart from working as full-time workers instead of interns, we were getting some very things that were not a part of our job description to do. So we were being used. We were literally being used. And then as it relates to use, there's also the fact that I work with Red Fox, now deceased. We shared the same birthday and the same first name, but that's about it. His method and my method were very different, because when he fixed anything for anyone, they had to come back to get something else on that device fixed. And I was not into that. Once I fix something, it should be fixed for good. It should not develop the same problem or a problem because of the fix. That was it. But that was, as I said, it relates to using. He was really using me, because when a lot of people think that once I'm there I was getting something. No, I only got something if work came in and I did it, then I'll get something. But overall, I wasn't getting any pay. However, if you're in a situation like that, then you can get some good out of that, because he was using me, but I was also using him, because whatever he knew, I learned, and whatever I learned from him, I improved upon it. So whatever he can do, I can do better. And then the other thing is that he knew where to get parts. So he would send me, and so that because of that, now I developed my own brand, my own name. So when I go to these places to buy parts, people already know that, hey, you're a technician, we're going to give you a technician price. Those kind of things, that kind of thing, I'm grateful for, even though there was some using going on. So you have to, in any situation, you have to be looking out for what are the opportunities that it presents, even if it's not ideal, because sometimes you're going to have to do things that are not ideal in order to achieve your overall goal. So yeah, that's it. Alright, so advice for youth seeking jobs. Firstly, know what you're worth. So that's it, because a lot of persons are going to, because you're young and because you're foolish, there probably is somebody, usually your parents, usually your mother, pushing you and saying that, hey, you need to go get a job, You're trying to get the first job that you can get. And so what happens is sometimes you're getting paid less than you can live off. You're getting paid very little. And sometimes, because it's better than nothing, you always say it's better than nothing. But I'm saying, if you are seeking a job and you find a job, look at and say, okay, is this job worth it? Am I okay with this job? Am I okay here? Or do I need to push a little further to get something else? However, when you're doing that, don't let your employer know, because they'll fire you. They'll fire you because you're looking a better job, which is kind of weird. Listen, I want better. I don't want to be here every day scrubbing your toilet. I want to do something else. I want to be be getting better pay. So that will be part of it. So watch out for people who will want to use you. When you're young, watch out for people who will want to use you, because they will be there. And when they if they find out they can use you, they will use you. Trust me, they will use you, and they will use you some more. Just like a piece of tissue. So just watch out for that. When it comes to your money, you have to be able to manage your money. Be very frugal. Don't be mean, but be very frugal. You don't try to be the flashiest person and then not have money to go to work. It doesn't look good. You need to look at take out your resources that you need to go to work first, and then whatever resources left, you need to take out your food, your rent, your light, whatever, your basic necessity, and then whatever is left after that is for your sporting. So you can't sport and then you worry about your rent or whatever. If you can stay at home with your parents, you should do so, but don't do so too long, because then when you want to do anything, they're going to want to tell you what to do. So don't do that too long, but you should do that while you develop yourself. Parents, the elders, please allow kids to develop. I didn't get that chance, to tell the truth, because even after getting my first job, everyone was like, okay, you're working now, it's time to give us money. And as a child, as a youngster, you don't know these things. So because you don't know these things, you're going to give in, and then when you do, it's going to affect you. You are going to be the one where they're going to say you worked and you have not achieved anything after stop working. So you're going to need to tell a lot of people no, and ensure that you develop yourself in such a way that you can improve on yourself, or you have something if you should stop work. And the main thing is, if you can, because not all of us can, if you can do something for yourself, you can open a business that will start making money quickly, or that will, if it's not going to be making money quickly, you're going to probably need to get a job and then try and build your business. But once your business take off and it can bring in sustainable income, then leave that job and go do that full time, because no one will ever fire you from your work. You open a company, no one will ever fire you from your company. Well, unless you go public, but it's a whole different thing. Alright, so what would be my advice on you seeking higher education? I didn't seek higher education in terms of university, and I have my reasons. My reason is that when you're doing higher education, right, there are certain, if you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, or you want to be certain job, then it will require higher education, and in that case, I think you should go ahead for it. But if you plan to do something that does not require higher education, then higher education can actually become an hindrance, because even me, I have a grade 1 in math, and it's an hindrance because most employers see that on your resume and they don't want to employ you, right? Which is probably the reason why for years now I've not actually sent my resume to any employer. People are calling me to say, hey, do you want this job? I no longer send out my resume to people to ask them for a job. But I'm saying higher education, do it if you need to. Don't do it just because you want to say I have a degree or a diploma, because it's going to push you. It's going to make you too expensive for employers, and then they're not going to want to employ you, because you're not going to want to work for $10 when you know you're valued at $40. You're not going to want that. If you're going to do it, just make sure that, okay, I'm getting higher education and I'm going to do a job that requires higher education, or else you're going to end up having to take a job and then and the other thing, if you're going to do it, try and get the cash. If your parents is paying for it, ladies, unfortunately, if your man is paying for it or somebody's paying for it, then go ahead. If you're going to take student loan, I really don't recommend student loan, because student loan is going to sink you. It's going to ruin your life. Trust me. what has been your experience? My experience with relationships. Relationships. They're all different. Right? So I'm guessing that you mean like intimate relationship. But even with friendships, they're all different, because today you will get along with a friend, and then tomorrow you do something and don't want to see them, and then in 3 months or so, then you're like, okay, cool, I can take some more of him, and then you guys are best friends. But as relates to intimate relationships, be very careful who you're getting intimate with. If you can't trust somebody to have sex with them without a condom, then you should not be having sex with a condom with them, because at the end of the day, condoms do break, and when they break, you could have that. Don't get somebody toxic. If the person is toxic, then you want to get out of there as soon as possible. You don't want to be in a toxic relationship. You don't want to be in an overburdened relationship, meaning that a relationship where you are compromising 90% of the time. What you want is a relationship where you get 80% of everything that you need. So how do you get that? How do you achieve that? Once you have that person, you should be getting about 60% of whatever it is that you need, just without them changing themselves any at all, without any adjustment. You should be getting 60%. Now, how do you get the other 20%? You get the other 20% to compromise. They're going to compromise 20% addition, so that brings you up to 80%, and then the other 20% is where you are going to compromise. So 60% of what both of you want should already be without any adjustment. Then adjust 20%, and then the other 20% you just live with that. And that's I think that's the key to the relationship as it relates to like sex now. So some persons enjoy certain kind of freaky sex. I don't, so I don't do that. Like if you're gonna suck a dick or you're gonna suck a pussy, make sure that you're doing it because you want to do it, not because somebody forced you. And if you are going to come out and say you don't do it, then make sure that there are not any pictures or videos of you doing it, because it's going to look real bad, real bad. But my advice, I would say don't do it, but if you're going to do it, make sure it's because you want to do it and not because somebody is forcing you to do it. There's lots more to relationship, but I'm gonna have to leave it there. Alright, so advice for people entering relationships. If you're 13 or 14, don't get somebody who's 19, right? Because that person, when the age difference is so different, right? When you are 13, your mind is susceptible. If I tell you that the moon is falling, you probably are going to believe that the moon is actually falling. At 14, you don't have the level of maturity to be with somebody who's 19. Even if you're going to say somebody's 14 is going to be so immature. Hey, newsflash, you're also immature. So that's for high schoolers. Don't try and get an adult. And then the other thing is, if you're 14 or you're 13 or you're 15, once you're in high school, right, and then you're gonna have somebody who has left high school, who's working, and that person is not going to tell you to get an education, then, but they're going to tell you that they love you, then that can't be love. No, there's something wrong. Because if you love somebody, you're going to want the best for them, and the best thing for you when you're going to school is to get an education. Focus on your education first, then you can have any man you want or any woman you want. When you're of age and you're ready to start a relationship, I'd say learn something about the person. Don't just jump into bed. Being friends first and then going intimate would be the preferred way. However, sometimes that doesn't work, because once you're a friend with somebody, you can't see them intimately anymore. But definitely it's important that you know the person before you jump into bed with them. So know the person and keep knowing the person, and then don't get to a point where you're too attached to the person, where the person tells you to jump and break your neck, you're gonna do it because you don't want to lose the person. If you are there, then you really need to leave that person. You need to leave that person so you can get detached, and then if you and that person get back together, fine. But you need to be at a position, at a place where you can do without that person, no matter how much you love that person. Because if you can't do without that person, then that person controls your life.
Alright, so what is my biggest achievement? Well, I have like 1,200 subscribers on YouTube, so that's something. I have a beautiful girlfriend, you know, so that's something. I have a 1 in maths and a 1 in IT. That's something also. I've done a lot of things that could be, some people would classify as my biggest success. But I think my biggest success is not giving a fuck. I think that's my biggest success, because when I was very young, I was very sensitive. Anything that somebody said, if somebody say, yo, your eye red, I would react to them saying that to me, and a lot of times I would react very poorly. I didn't know at the time that I was reacting poorly, but now, and I mean, people can say anything. They can say anything they want. If they want to tell me that, and they can tell me anything, right? And I will look at it, I'll evaluate it. Is it true? Disregarding their intention or their feelings, and just focus on what they're saying. If it's true, then you know I have to try and improve on it. But if it's not true, then you know I just leave that and just move on to the next thing. So not giving a fuck, I think, is my biggest achievement. Okay, so my biggest weakness, I'm not even sure what it is, but what I can say is that whatever it is, once I discover it, I'll try to improve on it, right? I am a bit of a perfectionist. I mean, that's a weakness to me, because a lot of times I end up spending way too much time on something that shouldn't have taken me so much time to do, because I want to get it perfect, and then sometimes by doing that gets me into problems, other problems and all that sort of thing. So I think that's probably a weakness. But whenever I try and what you do in life is, when you discover weaknesses, you try and work on them to improve on them. You're not going to be able to do everything, but whatever it is that you need to do, you need to improve on that. Okay, so my biggest regret, in life, a lot of things happen. Lots of things happen in life, and you probably would do them differently. But I think two things. Like when I was in about 8th grade, or I don't remember which grade I was in, but I know that was my first suspension. I found out what the admin password was, because you needed the admin password in order to access the internet. And I found out what the admin password was, and then having found out what the admin password was, I then gave it to a friend who entered it for some horny girls, and in the middle of class they were watching porn in the middle of class. Then they got caught, and then they said he entered the password, and then it came back to me, and then I got my first suspension. But as it relates to regret, the regret is really telling him the password. But I think my biggest regret would have come in 11th grade, because what happened is, in 10th grade, for September to December we had a teacher. Then January that teacher left. I think my cousin fought that teacher. Anyways, we got back a teacher like in February, and when we came September, is a new teacher. Each teacher goes back to the beginning. So I wrote a letter to this teacher telling her, listen, you need to get up off your ass and start teaching us something, because if you don't, we're gonna fail this subject. So the regret there is not that I wrote the letter. No, the regret is that I didn't type the letter. That's the regret right there. I should have typed that letter, because it was my poor penmanship. Even though I think I wrote that letter very well, I think it was some of my best writing, not as in what was in there, but just the penmanship was great in that letter. But I think if I printed it, I would have probably gotten away. So I think that's my biggest regret. Another regret that I have, this is more regret my mother did, not me. I went to St. Mary's All Age for grade 2, and they put me in the slowest class because I was coming from a different school and they didn't know what level I was at. So they put me in the slowest class, and the whole year I didn't do anything. I was bored, and so the whole year I didn't do anything. So basically lost grade 2. Furthermore, it was while going to St. Mary's All Age and coming home from school, because from I was very small, I always loved apple, the fruit, not the company. And when I was coming home from school one evening, I think it was Friday, I saw some juicy apples on a tree. And as a child, I kind of blocked out everything, because you just feel like it's only what you are focusing on or what you are seeing. That's all that matters. Everything else is irrelevant. And when I was there, I picked the apples, and the apples rolled down into a wasp nest. And I went for the apples, and I got bite everywhere. The girls them deal with me wicked. One of my eyes was shut from the bites, and that was very painful. But in case you're wondering, yes, I did get the apples. That was one big regret. I think my mind even blotted it out because it was so big. Alright, so biggest surprise. So alright, the biggest surprise I've ever gotten was not last year, but the year before. In that year, in June, I did some work, and I did some work for Milton Richards, aka Fudgy. And so what happened is I did that in like June. I didn't get paid, but when it came December, I said to him that, hey, I'm not going to allow you to come into 2020 owing me. So on the 31st of December, he sent me on the road. He sent me on the road. And so when I came back, I had taken out my money out of his money, and because I explained to him that I wasn't going to allow him to keep my money until the next year. And but the surprise is this: he's a Christian, goes to church basically every day. He's in the church. Every day he's in the church, Sunday to Sunday. He has something to go to church for. So after I did that, we were there, and I explained to him. He came to me and he told me to bumbleclot, and I'm like, that was really surprising, because I wasn't expecting that from him, especially over money. So that, I think, was the biggest surprise for me, even bigger than Trump winning 2016 or losing 2020. That for me was the biggest surprise of my life. A feast is made for laughter, and wine make it merry, but money answereth all things. So what is the one thing that can make a Christian cuss a bad word? That would be money.
Money will come and go. We know that. The most important thing in life will always be the people in this room. Right here. Right now. Salute, mi familia. Salute.
Well, some of the principles that I live life by. I try to make sure my yes is yes and my no is no. I'd rather tell you no and mean yes than tell you yes and mean no. I don't like to make promises. I try not to make promises because then people expect you to keep them. And then with life, yes, life is okay and blah blah blah. You say, okay, I'm going to kill this pig tomorrow, for example, and then tomorrow comes and you get a call and you have to go away, so you don't get to kill the pig, and then people say you told them a lie. So I try not to make promises. I don't try to tell people that I'm going to do anything. And I mean, if you're going to give somebody something, don't tell them that, hey, I'm going to be giving you this. Don't do that. What you do, when you have it, when you're 100% sure that they're going to get it, then you can tell them that, okay, you're going to get this. But as long as it's still just a possibility, you don't want to tell them that they're going to get it, because they'll be looking forward to it. I also believe that if you have the money to pay somebody, if you work somebody or you borrow their money or whatever the case may be, you owe them some money and you have it, you should go and pay them. I mean, unfortunately, people don't do that for me, but that's what I believe. Even Fudgy still owes me now, but I'm saying, when I went out on the road for him on many occasions, the driver's taking me home and I said, no, I can't go home. I have to carry his money, go give him. So I would not go to my house with his money, but he's okay having my money and not giving it to me. So I think that you should not go to your bed with another man's money. You should always try and make sure you pay whosoever you owe. As it relates to education, always when you're young, try and learn as much as you can, because when you're older, then you're going to have to pay to learn it. Also, never make somebody so important in your life that you can't, there's absolutely no way you can live without that person. Because what that does is that person ties you down. If they're going to tell you that, listen, you're going to have to jump off this bridge and break your legs in order to keep me, then you're going to do it because you believe you can't live without that person. On a religious front, I think that each person needs to evaluate religion for themselves. Don't just do it because your mother did it or your father did it, or because you just joined some random church. Find out what they believe, what are the beliefs, why they believe it, and then decide whether or not that's something you believe. Because you can't, a lot of people just join a church and then whatever that church says, then they just stick to the dictation. Read for yourself, read it for yourself. Don't let the pastor tell you that you can't understand it. Go and read for yourself. If you're a Muslim, Jew, whatever, read for yourself, find out for yourself, investigate for yourself. Whether it's religion or anything, you need to find out for yourself. Do it for yourself, because at the end of the day, whatever the result is, you are the one that is benefiting or being harmed by the decisions that you make. That would be what I would those are the principles that I try to live my life by. Do I worry about YouTube views? No, not really. I mean, right now that I've reached a threshold for subscribers, and my views are down. About 1800 hours of view time. Then I really want to reach to the 4,000 they require for my monetization. But really, I don't worry about YouTube views, because if I get views, I get views. If I don't get views, then I don't get views. Because at the end of the day, when I look at it, I have something to say. I say it, and that's it. I mean, a lot of the times you might not get the views today, but tomorrow you'll get the views. So tomorrow you get more views than you even need or even thought you would have gotten. I don't really worry about views, and I don't think anybody who is doing YouTube should worry too much about views. They should just do quality content, and then they'll get the views will come. It's the same approach with money. I don't worry about it. I just put in the proper work, and the money comes. So that's all about the views business.
nicely into the gap. Brilliant timing that. Never really got hold of that. Hits the ropes over the top and out. He has mistimed that completely.
Alright, will I be taking over Mr. Fix-It, Red aka Red Fox, business now that he's passed? No, it's the man him kill him. No, me can't do that. And people, just so you know, nobody come to me, ask me for nothing on the Red Fox, brother. Don't ask me for it. Don't ask me for it. I don't know. I don't have none on the phone, brother. It has been over 2 years since I've done any work with Red Fox. Probably more than 2 years since I've done any work with Red Fox. He has been dishonest in terms of his dealings, and I am not going to be following in that footstep. I will not be following in that line. So yes, I will be fixing phone, but taking over for Red Fox, Mr. Fix It, no, nah do it. So don't even ask.
Why the months of the years are January, February, March, COVID, lockdown, death, accident, rain, flood, hurricane, by the election, and December get fucked. That can't take back that.
Alright, so who are my role models? Well, role models for me, I can make a role model out of anybody. The best a person, the worst a person. So I guess Curl Locks, Two Locks, Twin of Twins. Their influence on me has been very great, I would say. Since I discovered them in like 8th grade or 9th grade, about 2004, when Stir It Up Volume 4 came out. Whenever Stir It Up Volume 4 came out, Stir It Up is always being played on loudspeaker for everybody here, all who know want to hear, anytime they come out. So that was the first exposure to them, and I think a lot of their messages resonate within me and within how I try to live my life. Damien Owell, DJ Johnny Blaze, yeah man, go and check out him channel, link in the description. He has been one of my role models since I was in like grade 3, and many things where me do right now today is as a result of him. I mean, him kind of grew me up like when I'm first picking them, and one of the biggest, one very big influence in my life and in the way of my life turn out. Because when you look at it, it's like you can see a potential and bring it out. Because I use Jermaine Query, aka T, as an example. Him see in potential, and now T is a big chef on one hotel in Jamaica. So, and the same thing with me, because Damien is the first person who send me go install operating system on somebody computer, on somebody's system, do an actual install. You get me I say? So him push me, and right now me can go install any operating system on any computer anywhere. So he's very inspirational and motivational in that regard. And I'm saying he's more than a role model, he's also a mentor. Understand? So when you find a person like that in life, you have to appreciate that person. It's also Yahshua, which most people call Jesus, who have some principles where make sense to me, and I have tried to live my life according to such principles. It made me realize that most people who say them are Christian, them are not really Christian, because the thing them Christ do, them not do it. No, them say anybody who do it, I idiot. Our next role model is my father, because just like him, my father used to do repair electronics. Can't do it much anymore because him can't see now. Father's about 75, 76 somewhere there, so the vision kind of blurry, so him can't do that anymore. So yeah, me take off him in that regard. But in other regards, other things we him do, him also show me the result of certain things. So me not have to experiment for myself. Me not have to try it for myself, because this bag of woman business to me now will work, right? So
from when me see it no work for him, so me not go do it. There's a role model right there. I mean, even Donald Trump can be a role model. Just do the opposite of whatever him do, and you're good. And myself, I try to whatever is in my mind, or however I'm looking at the world in my mind, or what I say I'm supposed to do in my mind. I try to bring that into action, because a lot of people, have good intention, but they don't bring it into action. They don't actually do it. They only have the good intention, they don't do it. And as a result of that, the result of them not executing the quote-unquote good intention, them say one thing but do something else. So overall, I think those are really my role models that I want to mention now. I mean, as I say, even the baby can teach. So it's up to you to decide who you want to be a role model, but I definitely recommend curl locks and two locks.
Right now, me charge up like a battery.
Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. This is their new hoax.
Are you here? You kill the bad with from among the good with, blind him by his name, root him, go behind bomber class, and you done.
How many voices can I imitate? Yeah, so I can do a few. I do a few. As many of you would know, Bench is actually based off a real person named Dwayne. You telling people on something from my youth. I'm gonna telling people them something. Yeah, so Bench is a bit different from the original character, but he still retains a lot of things from the original character. For example, Bench drinks, right? And the original Bench drinks. The original Bench was also, at the time when this character was forged, was also going to church. A lot of the things, that characteristics of this Bench was developed from that Bench, but a lot of them were taken from elsewhere. There's Bench. Then there's Miss Rose, who is actually Damien. Go and subscribe to Damien channel. Link will be in the description. Is actually his grandmother. Then Damien, you're somebody. Yes, so that's a Miss Rose. Miserable old lady. Fair characteristic, I think a lot of things about how I did her in After Dark. You should go and listen to After Dark. How I did her and how I made that work. A lot of it was a bit exaggerated, but that's how theater is. There's going to be exaggeration. There's a little bit more. I actually don't know her very well. But I've heard about her. Alright, so the next person is Hostin. Hey, it's where I go, sir. I want to call him a name for. You don't know something like that. Yeah, so he has passed, sometime now. I only recently found out that he has actually passed. But his voice still live on. Most of his characteristics, I mean, his general demeanor is his, but in terms of his characteristics that I give to his character, I think those will be basically based on how I want to portray the character, and not necessarily based on how he was, because as he's gone. There's Lexus. I'm his Alex. Bounty Killer. Yeah, so that's Lexus. Then there's Movada. Me. Not remember it, but you can do a Movada. Something like a Movada. A few more. Like I can do
I'll call him Steve for now. Yeah, you that? What kind of doing a uniform? Then there's Earl.
I know exactly where to put this phone to not hear you know.
I guess I can do Ras Whitey. It's so bizarre talking like this. Yeah, there. Few more that I do from time to time. I'm trying to learn like a female sounding voice. I don't know about like the one that was on the phone. Hello, sir. Then you need to obey the police that are there now. Right? I guess I'll have to do anyone that comes up. If it comes up,
you know that Miss Rose. Miss Rose, man, Miss Rose. Don't tell her that.
You know that's the Obia man. And UI Rob, which is basically based off their pastor. Good. Listen to me and say. You understand that basic demeanor. So I try to do a couple based on what I need to do. If I need to do a voice or I need to portray something, then I'm going to be trying a voice or something. But so that's basically the voices that I can do. I mean, if I practice and if I learn more, I'm watching some videos as to how to imitate more and do better imitation. So that is something that I want to do because I want to do animation, so I will need to be able to do that. So yeah, so those are the voices that I can do. Alright, so this is the ultimate question. This is like the final question. This is the question that everybody gets asked. If you could give yourself some advice, give your younger self some advice, right? What advice would you give yourself? What would you tell yourself? Well, for me, what I'll tell myself is to be less sensitive, right? To be less sensitive and to understand that everything is not going to be perfect, right? To be bold. You need to be bold. That's the thing. The shy thing, And I guess to save more, and also I think I'll tell him that the people who are telling you, giving you responsibilities and telling you that you need to take care of them or take care of this thing or the other thing, a lot of times they are the ones who are supposed to take care of it, right? So don't let them pass on their responsibility to you, because that's what happened to me. When I started working, I started taking care of the family like I was the father, because my parents told me that when I grow up I need to grow up and come help with the younger ones, and that's what I did. And then after I did that, what ended up happening was that everybody kept saying that I was worthless because I didn't achieve anything from working, right? When I was busy trying to make everybody else happy. So that's the second thing. That's another thing that I tell myself. You can't make everybody happy. So just focus on making yourself happy, right? And so that's it. And also, as it relates to women, one at a time. Because I guess that was something that I needed to learn when I had two women at like one time, and it didn't end well. I ended up with 0 women. So one woman at a time, that is the right way. That is good enough. More than one, not really for me. Maybe it's for somebody else, but not for me. So that is some of the advice. I guess there's more that I would give to my younger self. Alright, so general message now. Enough of the guys them as teenagers have a run down girl, be a girl business, yo. Brother, that no work. It no work, brother.
The brother from Goodyear, a man he suggested him make tie out a pussy. And the man poison him, brother from Goodyear poison him man because he man say, oh, pussy can't done if you make tie out of that, all man sell more tire. At that me sure it cannot finish. So the man them want to talk about, I was about them one girl for in a house whole day naked, panty and brazier and all them something. I fuck you though, because by the time you reach 30 and now old brother, you use the whole life from your 18, 19. You can't do that. You have to look out for you, take good care of you. You understand? You see man them now them go stone up or them go use Viagra or all them kind of fuckery there. That a fuckery too. Just all you need to do is just eat good food and take good care of yourself. And the topic of taking good care of ourselves as men. You know say many times a lot of us don't take good care of ourselves in that we don't want to go to a doctor. You understand? Me strongly recommend doctor. Me not tell myself to take the bag of medication, make the food be on the medicine and the medicine be on the food, but you need to take a checkup every year. And when you reach the age, or if you don't have a history in our family of this prostate business, you need to do this digital rectal exam. I mean, there is some taboo to it, but you have to take care of yourself and make sure say you get a decent, nice young lady to share life with, because if you don't, it's going to be a miserable life. I remember saying, majority, 3/4 of the women in the world, I look somebody to get something from. Them no business if you eat, them no business if you sleep, them no business no nothing. You understand? But if you get 100,000, them want 90 out of it. So you have to look out for them, and you have to know, you have to remember say, you have to take care of you, and if the next person will take care of you, then you don't need a person. Again, as I said before, if you have a person where you need more than what they need, or you need them to a certain degree where them know say that you can't live without them and them kind of thing then. You have to set up yourself, because when you do that now, them have a card, man, them bingo. Yeah man, I tell you man, them bingo, because what? You can't live without them. So then tell you jump off a mountain and broke your neck. You have to do it because you don't want to lose them. Anybody who worth keeping, you have to willing to lose. Stand up. Next thing, stand up for truth and right and justice. No matter who, could be your mother, could be your father, could be your brother, could be your sister. No matter who the person is, right? When them do wrong, then you have to make them know. Say I wrong them do. Not afraid of nobody at all. Yeah man, over life, you have to learn some lessons. You have to make some mistakes. It's better to make these mistakes when you're young. When you're young, it's better to be making this mistake than to be 40 and still make them mistake then. So learn from your mistake. Learn from the mistake of other people. Like Moda said, learn from the mistake of other people. If somebody, a lot of time people say, well, maybe you have a different luck or whatever. You have to look into it and see if it's a luck or if it's really so it ever happen. I mean, everybody can tell the future. You know? Everybody can tell the future. It's just that a lot of people don't want to face the future. They want to live into the past or live into a fantasy. You can't live in a fantasy forever, because reality, you're there in a reality, so you have to go deal with reality. So if you think you can stay in a fantasy, it's not going to work. You have to just wake up and smell the coffee. Yeah, that's the way you have to do, because this is just life. You understand? In terms of work, any work where you do, make sure say you make enough money to can save something, and make sure say you like whatever it is you do. Don't become something because other people expect you to become it, or become something and you don't like it, because it will be very pressuring. It's going to be the hardest thing we ever do in your life. It's going to become so stressing, and you're not going to want to work. It will just be you understand? So don't become something because other people want you to become it, or yield to any kind of pressure to become something where you don't really want to become. God, that is not good for you. Keep up on your health, enjoy life, but stay conscious and stay focused. You understand? Also, you need to set goals, and don't watch a next person. Don't watch a next person, because you will be, you see a man at 18 and him a drive a BMW, right? And you a say you're 40 and you not drive. You're not able to drive, you know. But him a drive a BMW at 18. What him do if you drive it? How him come by it? That's how we think about. Me not say, yeah, say you want to be like him or whatever, you know. But me I say, sometimes we need to realize you're upon your own journey. You don't depend on the same journey as the brother there. The brother there on a journey where him journey include a BMW at 18. But guess what? Even the most past 25. So you have a look on it the way there. You have a look and say, yo, it's not everything is, and everything is you. Suppose you know if you drive. Maybe the first day you decide to go drive, you go around a steering wheel, you end up in a truck. You understand? So it's not everything. Don't sit down and bad mind a person. You understand? And the next thing, people don't sit down and say they want the bad mind and they want, like say a bad mind them for them bad mind. Them stay with them bad mind, brother. Yeah, man, them stay with them bad mind because you can't help them. And when time you did it and you did I worry about them and them not worry about you. Them moving up while you stuck a look on them. You stand up a look on them and them moving up. No man, you love that man. If a man want bad mind, you that a film business. You just make sure say you no bad mind in your body and you try if you do the best what you can do. You understand, in terms of life, how you can live life. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. You understand? Don't charge for everything you do because in many cases you're gonna need something and the next person are gonna say, well, you charge for everything. Them have to go charge you. Always create friendship, lasting friendship with people who are like-minded and people who are going somewhere. You understand? If the person not going anywhere, them not gonna do you no good as a friend because them not gonna want you go nowhere neither. You want people when time them see you drive, you do something, you buy a car. Them happy for you. You don't want people where when you buy a car, them tell you say, oh, you get hypey, buy a car. You understand? You don't want people where I go do something and you buy a car and every day they want come buy a car, right? And them not put in no gas. Yo man, you know so I dance a keeper, I watch it. Yo come make a roll now. Every day and not one idea they not put their money to buy gas. You see, alright, party and dance. Now you see when you're young, most people are gonna want to, this party and dance business. It no work out, It no work out because alright, I'm gonna tell you something. This brother go out one bar and go bar like every day, every day and go bar until one day he come and go bar and go in a bathroom and dig off urinal off of the wall and I left on the bartender say, oh there, how you go with the urinal? You go with me urinal. The man say, you know much of my money going at this. Reality is, me not say don't drink, but this excessive drinking don't make it. And you have to remember say your cognitive neurological brain function needs to be intact, especially if you plan to drive. Don't drink and drive. You understand? Nobody cut your life short. You see, on the matter of cutting your life short, now a lot of people are go through a lot of things and nothing where you go through not really last ever, not even life. So nobody see I go through something and I say, oh bro, yo, me can't manage me can't manage this, never hang myself. You understand? Don't do them something whether you're a man, woman or a pitney, don't do them something, not even think about it. And next thing is important that you think about a woman's vagina as hers, because when she come in a relationship, she bring her vagina, and if she leave the relationship, she go take her vagina. So if she give somebody else some of her vagina, brother, you know bother worry about that. If you can't manage her giving away her vagina, just leave her, because there are other vaginas out there just waiting for you to come and claim them. But don't bother go kill the woman and kill yourself and all them something. And brother, if you go live a foreign, don't have a woman at Jamaica. Don't try it, because the woman they are go fuck on you. They spread you out like a mattress on the ground, climb up on you and fuck on you. Yes, that's how it happen. If there's a soldier, this kind of weird, because the soldier them kind of get some extra benefit when time they married. But to me, it don't make no fucking sense, because you're there camp. You there camp and your woman there you the fuck with the next man. When you come home now, you get vexed and go kill the woman. You have access to gun and you have access to shot. You come home, you kill the woman yourself. Brother, that to me is a recipe for disaster. So me no check that one. If you can't do on the person, in a sense you are married because you just tie down the two on. You tie up the two on and it just cause problem. Men, wanna take care of the kids. Take care of your kids. Women, don't give no man a jacket. Make man more confident when they take care of pitney. So them when a man take care of pitney, a man have to want to say, oh, I wonder if I even my you with this. I wonder if it's the next man you with this. You have to have the confidence there. You know what I mean? But the man them only need to take care of the pitney. If you're not sure, you spend the 60 or 70,000. Just save it up and spend it and save for food on pitney. You don't have to even make nobody know. If I fool no pitney, you don't have to make nobody know. If I don't fool no one, you know say yo, you just Obama, you just make it known and you try to do it early. Nobody wait until the pitney at 16, 17. Because guess what? There's no law that will give you back your whole your money and your hard work and the time when time you lick off your finger with the hammer and if you carry the money can give your mother if you can buy a uniform and pay him school fee. You understand? So in my opinion, do it as early as possible. If you have any doubt at all, any doubt, do it from the pitney all 1 day old, you go do it. So the less input, the better for you. Some people that say adopt the pitney, but I tell you, pitney ungrateful because when me look into it even like all my father say him have kids where and him get them, and next man get them. And when the next man they won't get them now, and they meet the pitney and tell the pitney say, yo, you know, so I'm not your real father, and the pitney go home and verify with his mother. The pitney beer, cigarette, everything when want to pitney a game. And to me, if I think about it, I'm not as my father, but as the other man who actually raise a pitney there, I'm working hard money and take care of the pitney there. I'm saying as the man, you know, as a man there, me I look man say, yo, yes I implant the tree, but I me fertilize it, I me water it, I me groom it, and when the tree big now and I bear fruit. Why him to come pick up it, but me I tell you say it will happen. So that's why if I know you're a pitney, me no recommend you could your wife or you could your woman in your yard. As long as I no fear, make sure you go find the father. Yeah, so I mean it's been a lot of things that I've learned over these past 3 decades. Just wanted to share some of it with you.
But Mr. Wallace, you know the special time we ride bicycle. I love flood the ride bicycle, man. I wait the
So thank you so much for watching. If you have reached this far, I want to thank you very much for taking the time out to watch this video and to share this video.
One car tire it take to come cross the road and lick you in your head back.
Listen, people, you're here with your boy Dino D Crazy, and we're here. Open your ears and listen keenly. Sir, what do you see?
In the direction to go to Farmwood. While it then occur and the red which was going up, it then red along on the front of the wish and then into the top of the mirror view glass where you looked out as the driver and then flick overturn on the front of the Tida and then overturn 3 to 4 times and occur on the wall and then explode.
Oh.
All you need to do is just look on me. So when you reach for yourself, you come down, just push off and you have a straight up and run on. Good, sir. It's like you're looking at my guy. It's like, Which shot go?
I have no respect for your curfew. Now block people place. Yeah man. Yeah man, them surrender now. Alright. Where phone then?
Pero